Morning, everyone. Sunday, October 10th. Hopefully, you're having a good Sunday. Welcome back to Vested Interest. This is Shane. Today, I'd like to cover the recent additions to the portfolio on October 8th, last Friday. So, let's get right into the video. So, as you can see, on October 8th, again, which was last Friday, we invested $1,393.83 back into the portfolio. So again, on this channel, we consistently try to add to the portfolio at least bi-weekly. Lately, I've been adding to the portfolio on a weekly basis. So let's see what we picked up on the 8th. So we picked up two. Again, I don't know why it does this, but sometimes it splits up the purchases. Here you'll see it split up the purchases 1 and 1, but it should have just been two purchases of Prudential Financial, ticker PRU. The cost of those shares was $108.80 per share. Picked up 4 shares of Leggett and Platt, ticker LEG. Those 4 shares, each share was $45.40 a piece. Actually, I picked up another 4 shares later. You'll see that, but there is a different cost basis. So I know these weren't split up into 2 different purchases. These were actually 2 purchases made at separate times. We also picked up 3 shares of Realty Income Corp. Cost on those was $67.50 per share. Realty Income, if you're not aware of it, is a monthly paying REIT. And again, it looks like this would have been 4 shares total, split up into 2 purchases. Why it does that, I don't know. Three purchases here for $67.50, and then 1 share there for $67.50 would have been 4 shares total of Realty Income. We picked up 6 shares of Gladstone Commercial Corp, ticker GOOD. Again, this is a monthly paying REIT, and those shares were $21.42 per share. Picked up 6 shares of Enbridge, ticker ENB, for $40.88 per share. 6 shares of Enterprise Products Partners, ticker EPD, at $23.28 per share. We picked up 6 shares of Colgate-Palmolive, ticker CL. Those were $75.57 per share. We picked up 4 shares of Bristol Myers Squibb, ticker BMY, at $58.49. Now, in my opinion, Bristol Myers Squibb at that price is pretty undervalued. This is why I picked up 4. I'm pretty good in the healthcare sector, but with prices that cheap, I'll always add a little bit to it. Johnson & Johnson, ticker J&J, we added 1 at $160.80. Again, 4 more of Leggett and Platt. This is another one that's really undervalued right now. So I added 4 more. You'll see down below I picked it up for $45.40 per share. Here I picked it up for $45.34 a share, so $6 per share cheaper. But again, it's significantly under. In both these 8 shares total, 4 shares different and 2 different purchases helped to lower my cost basis in Leggett and Platt. I think I've got a little over 20 shares or 24 shares, something like that, in Leggett and Platt right now. And my cost basis came down quite a bit on this. I think I was around $52 or $53 maybe per share. With the $45 range, it brought that cost basis down. So that's what we're looking for. If you see sales like that, that's the best time to jump on, grab a little bit more. Never be afraid of a sale. Again, that's the great thing about the dividend growth investment strategy. Markets down, markets up, market sideways, doesn't matter. It's all about the dividends. So when you can get them cheaper, get them cheaper. But do make sure that there's not a reason. A company going out of business, obviously you don't want to be riding that wave out the door. But Leggett and Platt isn't going anywhere, so I felt comfortable with this. Here we picked up 6 shares of National Retail Properties at $44.65, ticker NNN. 2 more shares of 3M. I've been adding to this position pretty regularly here over the last couple of months. Again, in my opinion, at $177.60 per share, 3M is undervalued, so I added 2 more shares there. Main Street Capital, ticker MAIN. This is another monthly paying REIT at $41.54. We added 10 shares there. So if you see a little bit of a pattern here. So with Main, Good, Realty Income, all monthly paying REITs. So I pretty much added to my REIT and definitely to my monthly paying REITs in this week's purchases. And then the last purchase for October 8th, 6 shares of Kroger, ticker KR, at $39.47 per share. So those were our purchases for Friday, October 8th. So let's do a quick review of the overall portfolio, where it stands. You can see here in the portfolio update, the current total for the portfolio value is $48,778, or I'm sorry, $48,778.47. The dividend yield is 4.163%, and the current annual dividend income is $1,983.33. So this is pretty much climbing up in a nice stair-step pattern. Last update, it was around 1,800 and some change. Now it's just under 2,000. I would anticipate that the next investment will drive us over that $2,000 a year in annual dividends. Quickly, let's look at the sector weights. For communications, we're at 6.76%. Consumer discretionary, 2.61%. And I did mention last time I wanted to add to this. I think it was around 2.3% last time. That was partly the reasons for the Leggett and Platt additions. They were in the consumer discretionary sector. Plus, like I said, they were on sale, so great time to pick them up, add to that sector that I wanted to bring up a little bit anyway. And I still would like to bring this up into the 3 to 5% range. Anywhere in there I'd be comfortable with. Even at 2.61%, it's not so undervalued that it's out of the range I'd like it to be in. Consumer staples at 14.66%. That's fine. I'm fine with that percentage. Energy at 11.26%. Energy is doing pretty well right now. So you noticed in this video as well, we added some Enbridge and EPD to the portfolio, which again are in that energy sector. Financials at 7.53%. This might be getting a little low, so I might look to add next time we have some sales in this sector, in the financial sector, some banks that I have that I might add to. Bank of America, for example. Huntington Bank is a regional bank that I'd like to add to, pretty cheap still, but has come up a little bit, so I haven't been adding. Healthcare, 12.35%. Again, Bristol, we added some Bristol Myers Squibb, 1 share of Johnson & Johnson, which again, the 1 share of Johnson & Johnson or a couple shares of Johnson & Johnson have been a pretty regular addition to the portfolio, along with the 3M lately. Industrials, 14.37%. That's come down a little bit. I think we were over 15, creeping up on 16% last time. We did add a couple shares of 3M this time. Technology sector at 7.98%. Materials at 3.66%, utilities at 9.63%, and we did add to the REITs and real estate, so this crept up a little bit at 9.2%, which again, still fine with that. Anywhere around 10%, 11% for REITs, real estate, I'm fine in that area. Now, one of the things I'd like to cover while we're looking at sector weights, a lot of people, whenever they first get started, they wonder how to set up their portfolio. How do I know what sectors to get into? How do I know how to weight the portfolio? Where do I put my money within the portfolio? Those sort of questions. Now, in my opinion, it's best to be diversified. So as you can see, I try to get a little bit in each sector, but really it's all about your investing strategy. What is your goal? What sectors do you understand? What sectors do you invest in? I try to invest in stocks that I know, that I use. You know, for example, in the energy sector, I invest in DTE and Enbridge. Enbridge is a Canadian company. They actually have a pipeline that runs across the Great Lakes from Canada into Michigan, where I live. So I'm familiar with Enbridge. DTE is my service provider, so I'm familiar with DTE. So I invest into those companies because I know them, I'm familiar with them, I know they're not going anywhere. So I put my money in because I'm using that service anyway, so I might as well get something back out of it. Same thing with other sectors. Consumer staples, for example, is a sector that you can look at. Go open your cupboard, go open your fridge. And, do you use Coke? Do you use Pepsi? Well, there's two different dividend paying companies that you can invest in. What cereals do you eat? I eat General Mills, so I have a lot of General Mills. My daughters like Heinz ketchup and A1 sauce. So Kraft Kraft ketchup and A1 Heinz. So those are areas that you could look at. Colgate Palmolive, that's a toothpaste that my wife uses. Another one, GlaxoSmithKline, is who makes Aquafresh toothpaste that I use. So these are all in different sectors that you can look at and kind of break up. Now, how many holdings should you have in each sector, again, is up to each individual. Some people like to keep their portfolio small, maybe 10, 12 positions that they really understand, and then they just really fill those positions out and have hundreds and hundreds of shares. Personally, again, I find it easy to find 2, 3, even 5 and more, especially in some sectors like the energy sector, where there's multiple different company types within the sector. You've got providers of natural gas and oil. You've got your renewable energies within the sector. So there's a lot of different companies within sectors as well. So energy, for example, is one where I've got probably ExxonMobil, Chevron, Enbridge, like I mentioned earlier, DTE, like I mentioned earlier, and several others within that sector. So I've got 5, 6, 7 holdings just in that one sector. So for me, I have around 60 positions in different companies. REITs is another one. I probably have REITs in real estate. Again, you just saw Good Realty Income, which is ticker O, and Maine. There's 3 REITs right there in the real estate sector. And I've got Stag as well, which is a quarterly payer. NNN is another REIT. So I've got 5 REITs that I can name off the top of my head, which again, so if you've got 2 to 3 in each one of these sectors, it would not be hard over the 11, 12 different sectors, especially if you have some ETFs in there, to have 20, 30, 40 holdings. Now again, if you want to pick out the best one, let's go to industrials, for example. 3M is in a lot of different sectors within industrials, right? So they're in a little bit of manufacturing. They touch a little bit of manufacturing. They touch a little bit of construction. Your tape in your junk drawer, maybe even your super glue, all could be supplied by 3M. So maybe you just want the one company within the industrial sector, and you really fill out your 3M position. It's all up to you what you want to do, but I'll give you an example of one of the companies on my watch list, Texas Instrument, also within the industrial sector. So I'd be comfortable adding them as well, even with 3M. LMT is another one in the industrial sector. Cummins is on my watch list. I would be comfortable adding them. So really, it's going to come down to what you want. Healthcare is another sector. Bristol Myers Squibb was on sale, so we added to that this time, but also Johnson & Johnson, both in the healthcare industry, but I've also got some Pfizer. I've got some Merck. So right there's 5 different holdings off the top. Again, GlaxoSmithKline, who does my Aquafresh toothpaste, is in the healthcare sector. So there's 5, 6 companies within the healthcare sector, pretty easy, that you could jump into. AbbVie, I know a lot of people like AbbVie, and they're not in mine, but Abbott is another one. They're a provider of medical devices. So again, within the one sector, you have companies that provide different things. Some provide actual pharmaceutical drugs. Some provide, the equipment and the equipment that the healthcare providers and the doctors use, for surgeries, for example, that sort of thing. So really, don't think there's any one way to do it. No one way is better than another. Just really understand what you're invested in, know where your money's going, what the companies that you are investing in do, what their financials look like. Do they have positive cash flow? That's always a big one. That's what's going to pay your dividends. I like to find companies that are paying, under 70% of their income, and that's after expense income. So after they've paid all the bills, what free cash flow do they have left? How much of that free cash flow is going to pay the dividends? Anything under 70% is definitely going to be safe, and that also allows them, that 30% left to go back into reinvesting into the business growth, which in my opinion is what you want as well. You don't want everything going out to cash flow. There are some businesses, obviously like Coca-Cola, for example, where that might not be the case. They do pay out above that 70%, but they're pretty well established business. Their name recognition is such where I'm fine with them paying out above that 70%. I don't think Coca-Cola is going anywhere anytime soon. We've drug this on a little bit longer than normal, but I wanted to touch on that topic while we were here looking at sector weights. Now, again, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing in this presentation should be considered financial advice. I am only sharing my opinion and investing journey for educational and entertainment purposes. Investing involves risk. You can lose money and should never invest any amount you are not comfortable losing. Always do your own research and invest based on your situation, circumstances, and selected criteria, or seek the advice and counsel of a certified financial advisor.